What's up, Craig?
What's up, Craig?
And hello, you lovely, lovely listeners. I know you can't see me and I can't see you, but welcome. Welcome to another week of the Set 2 and Pass podcast. I have no idea what this intro is doing. I'm just rambling at this point, but I did want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day or night or whatever you're doing to put us on and listen to two dads ramble about really everything and anything. So I'm Dylan, and I'm with you, and we're gonna talk about some stuff and things, maybe.
I mean, stuff and things, that's generally what happens around here.
Yeah,
We start with some
absolutely.
stuff and we end on things.
Yeah, like last week's, started off with Yu-Gi-Oh, ended up with Amish daddy problems.
Oh yeah,
And
I forgot the Amish daddy problems. That's right.
like that took a left turn.
That took several very hard left turns. I really I don't know how we ended up where we did there.
I have no idea, dude. That's just NASCAR.
Dude, honestly though, how that last episode went is realistically how we kind of just described Dawn to Dawn.
Yeah,
Like that show is that series is just it's all over the place.
it absolutely is. But I mean, I think that's what draws a lot of people to it. Did you know that it actually won a few of the anime awards for this year's Crunchyroll Anime Awards?
I heard that it had won a few. I didn't see which ones, but I really wasn't surprised because it really did take some popularity this year.
Well, let's just go ahead and take a look-see real quick. So it got Best Character Design, which I thought was pretty neat because it did have some really unique characters.
Yeah, I think I think they deserve that one, honestly.
It got both Best Opening Sequence and Best Anime Song for Otonoke, which is the intro.
You had just brought up earlier too about how catchy the intro was.
And it really is too. I mean, it's definitely one of those. It's definitely one of those anime that really sucks you in because, that's not normally the kind of music that I listen to, but I couldn't stop listening to it. Like it was just great. And the next thing I knew, it was time for the episode to start.
Yeah, like I'm a big aesthetic person. So like a good intro, and I am still the type of person that will skip an intro.
Right.
But after I at least see if I watch the intro a couple times and I don't skip it here and there because I'm like, they actually took some time and made this look good. I honestly makes the show more enjoyable for me because there's not really too many shows that I do that with.
Right. And then I don't know. There's just something about the show. Like, I mean, I love the animation. I think the animation's really fun to watch. Like, it's aesthetically pleasing to look at, and the story is just so left field, but it's great.
Yes. And while I'm only like 50 some chapters deep in the manga right now, I can say, even though, like, obviously most people have seen it by now, but the very first episode, it seems like the show is really gonna go one way. At least from what I can see as the story progresses, there is a lot of story like growth, and I mean there's tons of character development already, and I really think that the farther I get into the manga, like it's still gonna have those elements where it's still got that like off the wall out of left field comedy, but I still think it's gonna get into a more serious storyline.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm like, don't get me wrong, I love Goofy. Like, I really do. I love Goofy anime. Like, one of my favorite anime of all time was Bubble Bo Bo Bubble Bo. Um, yeah, that was a fever dream. But no, there's just something about Don Da Don that, like, just from the first episode alone, you get the weird, like, mechanical, penile alien things and Turbo Granny gobbling dongs
Suckling.
and like it's I don't know. It's just a lot of fun to watch. Like I thought it was really cool how Turbo Granny was able to like use the cell phone to teleport from where they were to the alien spaceship.
I also like how they beat Turbo Granny, where they actually thought like Momo actually thought about it, and she's like, "All right, she's called 100. She used to be called 100 kilometer Granny."
Right.
And they're like, the train goes, I forget, I think they said like at least 120 kilometers per hour.
Right.
And I was like, okay, like they actually are doing something other than, oh, we just unlocked a new ability.
Yeah, they actually outsmarted her,
Yes.
especially because the train then ran out of their domain. So she was like, just when you thought they were getting ready to get caught, domain's there, the other granny's there, and it
Dude,
was
that whole aesthetic, or I guess not aesthetic, but dynamic there between Momo and her grandmother is hilarious to me.
yeah, yeah. I love like what is it? It's like a giant pencil
Yeah. Yep.
or something like that that she's able to draw like circles and stuff on the ground with.
Yep. She later on, she like really takes to like the Louisville Slugger.
But no, it's definitely a fun anime to watch.
I am glad to hear it got some awards though.
Yeah, it was. I was surprised that, like, I guess I wasn't surprised because everyone was talking about it. And at the end of the day, the award show is a giant popularity contest. But
Yep.
to see that a Netflix show, because right, Dandadan is only on Netflix, isn't it?
No, I believe it's on Crunchyroll as well.
Is it? Okay.
I
I wasn't.
believe so.
All right, I wasn't sure if it was one of those like Netflix only.
No,
Or no, it's not. Yeah,
think
no, I think you're
I
right.
th- I think the latest one to hit Netflix exclusivity, I think that was Sakamono Days,
Okay. All right.
which I've
Because
heard
I
really good things about too.
my kids love it, especially my oldest son. Like he's actually reading the manga right now over on on the Shonen Jump app, and
All right.
yeah, he's loving it.
Yeah,
I love Delicious in Dungeon. Like for the Netflix series, that was one of my favorites.
I don't honestly know that I've watched like an actual just Netflix anime series.
Yeah,
Honestly, I don't know that I've ever watched anime on Netflix.
you should check out Delicious in Dungeon. It's a lot of fun.
I might have to.
It's like D&D meets anime meets cooking.
Okay.
Because they literally cook just about every monster that they run into in the dungeon in some random various way. They cook everything. Like they, a little bit of a spoiler, but sometime in the early episodes they run into, they're basically mimics, but they're coins. And no, sorry, their suits, their armor and weapons and stuff, but they're like mollusks. So they use the armor and stuff as their shell. Well, they defeat them, and then they boil them, and then it's like clams or mussels or oysters.
Okay.
So it was neat because there's crazy stuff in there like cockatrice, which they can petrify people, and the main character, he's like a huge monster nerd. So he has like this book, like this survival guide, like a Boy Scout survival guide that tells him how to survive in the dungeon. And going up against this cockatrice, which is basically a big old chicken, he like puffs himself out, puts makes a fan over his head to make it look like a bird's face, and he just starts cawing and cooing and making noises to intimidate this monster before they kill it and then cook it and eat it. It's a lot of fun. It's one that me and my daughter watched.
That sounds like a little bit of a mix up in my normal rotation of anime.
Oh yeah, like it's nothing super serious. There's no like universal destroying powers or oh the world's at fate. It's like no, these guys are just they're dungeon divers. They're diving into this dungeon to try to get to the final floor to get the remains of another party member to try to resurrect them.
Right.
And like that's the whole thing. Their dungeon like that is like they're not superly strong or superly powerful or like they're not Goku level anything or something crazy like that. They're not the chosen ones or anything like that. They're just like, yeah, we dive in dungeons. We're adventurers.
And that's still pretty cool, though.
Oh, absolutely. I love stories like that. Yeah, no, I love it. Like it's easily one of my favorite anime on Netflix.
Like, I've really, like, I've looked at them so much, but I've never actually just, like, committed to, like, watching an isekai.
Oh, isekai is my favorite brand of, or my favorite genre of anime.
So I normally go for action. That's my thing.
Then
I like,
you should watch That Time I Got Reincarnated into a Slime.
yes,
Lots of action in that one.
Mm-hmm.
The Rising of the Shield Hero, that was another really cool one. The new season of that is getting ready to come out, I think, next season. That's another isekai, but there's a lot of action in that one too. Yeah, no, I don't know why. It's just isekai to me is my go-to genre. I know a lot of people don't like it, but it's my favorite. And then another feel-good well, not really a feel-good anime, but it's called Campfire Cooking in Another World with my Campfire Cooking in Another World with my absurd skill. Guy gets isekai'd and he gets this unique skill that lets him order food from our world into this other world using the currency from this other world. So he gets popped into like this medieval era, your typical D&D type world, and he doesn't know what he can eat. He doesn't know anything like that. So he finds out the skill. He's able to order like Wagyu beef. He's able to order ramen. He's able to order beer, and he's able to order just about anything that you want because he basically has the option to open up an Amazon produce store. Or basically, it's Amazon that he's able to materialize, and then he pays for whatever, and it just appears in a box in front of him.
That sounds really interesting.
And that's not like it's not super actiony. There's not a whole lot going on, but it's a lot of fun to watch.
It sounds like it would be pretty fun to watch.
And the dub isn't bad. I know a lot of people hate dubbed versus subbed or whatever, but that's definitely one of those anime that like if I'm cooking or if I'm doing laundry or whatever, I'll throw it on if I'm in the mood to watch it again and have it as background noise.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I've gotten through quite a bit of anime in the past few years.
Yeah.
I mean, most of them are, the stuff that everybody's seen.
Right.
But there's been a few here and there. There was one I watched it on Hulu. The series got canceled. I read into it a little bit. The studio ended up like shutting down. Nobody ever picked it back up, and they left it on such a cliffhanger that it still kind of upsets me to this day.
Oof.
The show is called Gangsta.
Okay.
It was about a couple like I would say more like kind of like modern outlaw kind of guys.
Okay.
But it was set in this like really weird like modern desert kind of setting. And they were obviously, they're just two dudes trying to save their city from a bunch of actual like mafia bosses that are basically drugging people and turning them into superhumans.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's actually really well written. There was only like 12 episodes, but like they ended it on one of the main characters falling out of a window.
Huh.
Like he just starts falling out the window, the episode cuts, and it's just there's no more after that.
Really?
Oh, dude, it was such a good show too. Like The animation quality was great. I mean, the pacing was awesome. They did a really good job at setting like the whole world up.
Very
Like
nice.
I don't think in it. I don't think there was very much left. To be honest, I think it was going to be more of a 20 to 30 episode kind of anime. But still, it's like, like could you please just somebody finish it? Like, I don't care if it's like one episode that just sums everything up. Just tell me what the hell happened.
It'd be nice, but I mean, I get that. Like, you get really into an anime, and then it just kind of like abruptly stops, and it's just like, wait a second, no, 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 I need to know, and then you just know deep down that you're never going to know.
Yeah, and honestly, like that is why and I'm truly mean this. That is why I started reading manga. Is because I was so impatient, and I would just sit there like, I wonder, and the information was just right there in front of me. So,
Like, I know that's another pretty big thing with Kentaro Miura. Rest in peace, the mangaka who created Berserk. Like, that story wasn't done yet. But
yeah,
unfortunately, with his passing, I don't think we're ever really gonna get an ending to it. Because it also left us on kind of like this, like, we finally found out who the child was, and turns out to be Griffith, and Guts finally is able to, it seems like he was finally able to relax a little bit and take off the armor and, breathe. And then you get this big just there, and it's just like, okay. So I don't know. I know me, I want the story to continue, but I don't know if it would be right for it to continue.
that one I could honestly really, I could agree with you fully on that. That's kind of a tough one
Yeah.
because it's like I don't know unless like there was something kind of like when Toriyama passed,
Mm-hmm.
and it was pretty known that oh damn it, now I'm drawing a blank. Um, the new illustrator of the one that he did, Toyotaro.
Right.
There was I've read somewhere that basically they had it set to where he gave Toyotaro the blessing to continue.
Okay.
But if there's like, I don't know, I feel like unless there's something to that extent, then yeah, you should probably just leave it with the creator.
Yeah.
And it does suck.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's happened to quite a few. I mean, we've had quite a few authors get like kind of ill.
Right.
For some big,
Like, I know
go
with
ahead.
Bleach, he was Tite Kubo. That's why he was out for so long, because he was ill.
Hmm.
And they were like rushing him to get his stuff out, so it wasn't giving him really any time to focus on himself and do what he needed to do. Um, so, but then we got Thousand Year Blood War arc a couple of years later, and people loved it.
That they did.
But no,
But
I could only imagine if something were to happen to Oda before One Piece ends.
oh
Like, that would
man,
be just, oh my god. Like, I don't know what they would do, man.
yeah, that would be I that would fuck up like generations worth of people, dude.
Yeah, because I mean, with how long One Piece has been running, I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but I can remember, I think it was in like, I looked it up the other day. I think it was 2004 when it came stateside, because that's when I first started watching it on, I think it was Kids WB, because that's when it had that crazy English opening that was really, really cool. Like, even people who listen to it now, because a lot of people, they'll listen to the Japanese openings, but there's just something about that 4 Kids intro to One Piece that was just glorious, and I have no idea why. It was just so much fun.
I mean, I don't know. Being somebody that wasn't there, you know what I mean, I was there, but I wasn't.
Right.
I don't really think I can really speculate on that.
Wow. One Piece came out in 1997.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, that means it's older than my sister, which is pretty interesting. That's crazy.
Like,
That's crazy to think that it's been out for that long and it's still running strong.
yeah, it's literally the biggest anime.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the oldest out of the big three, out of Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. It's the oldest, and it's the only one still going, unless you count Boruto. But I don't think a lot of people count Boruto as part of Naruto.
we don't like to talk about that.
Nah, I can't say that because I think they are one of the highest rated or the highest selling manga in the current generation. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think they are. I think Boruto is quite popular when it comes to manga sales.
Yes. Oh yeah, it is. I will say, since damn it, dude, I am not having a good time with names tonight. Since Kishimoto it has come back to oversee Boruto, and it's there has not been one single chapter of Two Blue Vortex that has not been absolute gold.
Not gonna lie, I don't think I've read any of Boruto aside from where I see a lot of these fights and stuff on TikTok where people are constantly arguing and stuff. So if they'll say something completely outlandish, I'll go ahead and I'll do a little bit of research. So like I'll look it up and I'll find that exact panel and I'll snag it. And I'll be like, you mean this one? And it'll either prove or disprove someone in the most glorious of ways because they're like, I didn't know that. Or, oh, I guess I was wrong. It's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, you gotta look at the fine details of these series.
Dude, anime debaters on TikTok, they remind me so much of little kids on like the kindergarten playground where they're sitting there fighting like, no, my character can beat your character because my character has laser eyes and can fly. No, my character can beat your character because he's got a shield. It's like, I expect that from a children's playground. But then to see full-grown adults sitting here and getting, like, visibly upset and angry.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're being disproven or someone's not 100% agreeing with their outlook on this anime because it's the most glorious thing and most important thing to them in their life. It's just like, nah, I think your anime is garbage. It's like, you don't have culture and swine, you don't know what you touch. It's like, dude, I'm allowed to have my opinion. Like, you're allowed to have your opinion. If I say your shit I think is garbage, nothing you say is gonna change my mind. But like, you could scroll, like I scroll through TikTok lives every now and again. And I see people on there arguing like, how far does this character get in this gauntlet? It's like, why? No, I just want to see how strong you think. And then they try to bring like real world physics into things. And it's like, why are you trying to bring a realistic aspect into this fictional world to try to make a point on a debate on fictional characters? And then they're just like, because it's debating. It's like, nah. It's like, I will stick with my kindergarten like debates where my guy can beat up your guy because my guy's got a bigger stick.
Yeah,
like it's nuts.
For real.
It's crazy. Like I don't know. I don't know,
man. Some people get too upset for like just absolutely no reason.
And like, I've seen people like threaten violence on each other because they had a different opinion on a fictional character. It's like, what are you doing? Oh, Korra's better than Aang. How dare you say that? Burger, 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 burger. It's like, dude, relax.
Yes.
Maybe put the phone down.
Dude, some of these people really do just need to calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Like, they gotta understand at some point in time, things are gonna be okay.
It's like, dude, it's a show. It's not real.
Yes. That's exactly it right there. It's a show.
Like, don't you worry, the people on the screen cannot touch you. No matter how much you're like rooting for them to win, they don't care because you're not the one writing the story.
Exactly. But we see some people don't like to think about it like that.
Right.
Some people just want to argue and kick and scream and honestly just really make jackasses out of themselves in the end.
Right.
You confidently roll around about your day like just yeah, I told that guy. I really told TikTok that nobody can beat Goku.
And I don't know, it's scalar logic. Like these people, they call themselves scalers or part of the scaling community because they're trying to put these characters in brackets. And
those people are the worst.
oh my god, they are. Like, I don't know. I think I'd rather listen to those. I don't know if you remember those old. It was on TV forever. They were televangelists where they're trying to sell you heaven, and I think I'd rather listen to them than fucking scalers, man. Because scalers they annoy the shit. Like they just annoy me. Like especially when they know they're full of shit, but they're doing it for the bait. Like
Yeah,
all
and
these people out here who are like, "Oh, Naruto's the same level as a universe." It's like, what?
no. Like Naruto is barely handling aliens.
Set him to Don the Don.
Like and I'm a fan of Naruto. Like
Oh yeah,
I'm a fan of most of these shows that I see people debate stuff on, and I'm just like, you guys have to actually just watch more than one show. Because at the
it's
end of
like
the day, like nobody takes into consideration like just basic things like skill levels of like their prefer like whatever fighting styles that they use. Um, like is this character like this character is more refined here because of X amount of battle experience, and I don't know. It's everybody just takes like it's like I think the thing I see most is you'll see one feat from a character, and then it's just like that's the only thing they can hang on to.
right or a statement. Oh, but it said this once in this one-time thing 800 chapters ago that this one thing happened. Therefore, it always. It's like what?
And it was probably one of the most situational things ever.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. Scalers on TikTok, they just bug me. Like they just do. And then I know people are gonna be like, "You're just not smart enough to know the math behind it." It's like, motherfucker, it is a fictional fight between two fictional characters that will never happen.
Fictional.
It's like, what real world math are you gonna try to say is relative to a fictional character? Because for all you know, 1 + 1 = 3 in that world.
And that's no, you have like one of the most perfect. That is another very huge concept people don't take into consideration. Like every verse has a different setting. They have different rules. They have different restrictions.
And then people will cry, but verse equalization. It's like, why? So you can nerf one side and not the other?
Yeah, it's because it's comments like that that are just too afraid to lose their side of the argument.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
But
dude,
we need to equalize the verses so they each have an equal chance of, it's like, no. No, no, no. My character can literally rip reality apart with his pinky, and yours struggles in water.
yeah.
I don't know. It's something. Like, I have so many people blocked on my TikTok just because I see that they're those scalar folks, and it's just like, I don't want to fucking listen to you. Like, I don't want you ever to appear on my For You page again. So block.
Yeah. That's not the worst way to go about it.
Yeah.
There are too many people that cry the blues about too much dumb shit on the internet for me to want to see it too.
Yep. Absolutely. Oof. On a tangent there.
Hey, you know what? It was honestly somebody needed to hear that.
Right? Someone out there agrees with me. So what do you think the greatest invention ever made was?
The greatest invention.
Yeah, I saw this brought up on another podcast. I don't remember who the hell it was, but I was scrolling through and they were asking each other this, and I was like, that is an interesting question.
That is actually a very interesting question.
Yeah. What is the greatest invention ever made?
Honestly, I think I'm gonna say the automobile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a good one. Like the whole automobile or just like the engine?
The whole automobile itself.
Okay.
Can you imagine ordering something from Amazon and it coming to you on horseback?
That'd be great. Maybe
I
we
would
would
like,
have hover cars.
right?
Maybe Tesla would have got, or yeah, maybe Nikola Tesla would have gotten into car design instead of his electricity thing with his Tesla coils, and maybe we would have like anti-grav vehicle or something.
It would be like everybody thought it was going to be years ago. Like,
Yeah.
you remember? What movie was it? That they had it? It was like set in like 2025 or something.
Oh, Back to the Future.
Yes,
Yeah, they
and
had like hoverboards and flying cars, and
yeah, it looked like you were in the Jetsons.
yeah, man, where the hell's that? I feel lied to.
Well, I don't have an answer for that, but I also feel lied to.
Yeah, man, we were promised, man. Yeah, that was back at the date was October 21st, 2015, man. We are 10 years ahead of that. Where the hell's our hoverboards?
Actually, having a hoverboard would be cool as fuck.
That'd be dope. Or flying cars.
I don't see flying cars sound great in theory to me, but bro, you got people that can barely keep shit on the ground.
Yeah.
Letting people willingly in the air like that just does not sound like a great time to me.
My God, so many people would end up in so many people's like living rooms or something.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, imagine. Oh, dude, I wish my brain wasn't like that sometimes. But like,
Worst
dude,
possible outcome.
it's like now I'm thinking like, dude, what if there was a drunk driver behind the wheel of a flying car? Like, this dude's just going home from the bar all happy as shit, not realizing what he's doing, does a barrel roll into I don't know, like, I don't know. There's a family of four just trying to enjoy dinner, and there's a car in their living room all of a sudden. Except it came from up.
Right? It came from the ceiling, not the wall. Excuse me, sir. You can't park there.
Yes, sir. This is a no-fly zone.
All right, man. Where's our jetpacks at least? Come on.
I could live with jetpacks.
Could you imagine how much it would cost to fuel one of those things?
I don't really want to. I feel like one trip to work is like what I spend in 2 weeks on gas.
So yeah, like your paycheck is now in your jet fuel or in your rocket pack. Couldn't even imagine that.
Probably
That'd be
wouldn't have.
nuts.
Probably wouldn't. ever have to worry about being late to work, though.
Oh no, you'd still have people who are late. No, I forgot to set my alarm, and oh my god. So here comes another rant. My brain's on a rant roll tonight.
Hey.
I was watching again, just scrolling through shit, and this one person, what the hell did they say? They were time something or another. Oh, what the hell was it? The girl was applying for a job, and she got all upset because she asked them if they were willing to compensate for her time blindness. That's what it was, where she can't really see time or understand time. And they looked at her and they're like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, I might be like late a lot because I have time blindness." And it's like, then why the fuck would we hire you? And she got all offended. So she made a TikTok, and apparently she thought that people were going to be like, on. Now this is old. This is like probably a year or two old or whatnot, but it randomly appeared on my For You page. And I don't know if she thought that people were going to be on her side for this, but she really thought that time blindness was going to be a thing that would work in her favor.
Time blindness.
That's what she called it.
I have never heard such a bigger crock of shit in my entire life.
Yeah. Oh, apparently I just looked it up. Apparently it's people with ADHD claim that they have time blindness, and I guess it's chronically late, difficulty with work pacing, rushes through work carelessly, difficulty waiting or impatient, procrastination, puts things off to the last minute. Isn't that the same thing? Demonstrates poor timing of action or remarks, difficulty estimating how much time has passed, wasting or losing track of time, difficulty completing long-term projects, or difficulty with transitions. Now, if that is like an ADHD thing, then you need to be put on some kind of medication. But the whole chronically late thing, I'm pretty sure everyone working has a phone or an alarm clock.
Some
Set
sort.
20 alarms if you have to. But time blind? Nah, that just sounds like you're fucking lazy.
No, that's definitely what that is.
It's like, I know when I was a manager at GameStop, we'd have people come in late, and it was like the same guy every single time. He was like, "Yeah, no, sorry," and it wasn't anything huge. It was like 5-10 minutes, so I didn't really think nothing of it until he started showing up like 30, 40, almost an hour late multiple times. Like, what are you doing? He's like, "I just lost track of time." I was like, "Dude, it's like people are waiting on you so they could leave, or I'm here alone because they just went ahead and left anyway." And they never really had an excuse. They just, "Sorry." It's like, I hate you because you're a child.
Yeah, no, I get that fully too, because being a fucking team lead, I have heard some outrageous shit.
Oh, I bet.
And it's, you can't say anything because that's how you end up in HR.
Right. Dude. Alright. I gotta change names of this story just in case if somehow, some way they end up finding out about this. So I was working security at a warehouse run by Cramazon. New company Cramazon.
Yeah.
And so I worked overnights at this warehouse, and every single morning, because I worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And those are my days. And 4 out of those 5 days, I had my relief. Like, we couldn't leave our post until we were relieved. So we had to wait for someone in the morning to show up. Otherwise, we had to stay late. And usually we had to stay for a double or a 12. And there was this one lady. We're gonna call her Hungry Hungry Hippo because that's what we called her. She was always late. And like she would show up to work, and like we would, because I'd go out there for my 15 or whatever, and I'd see her ooze into the parking lot with her car. And so it's like I could see that she is here. She is on premises. She is here. And this bitch was still anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes late. Every single time. So me and the guy who I was working with, he's on TikTok and on YouTube. He's enjoying C4. Um, he's a buddy of mine, and we were always working down at the one side of the building together. And we would just there, and we'd wait and wait and wait some more, because he'd usually wait for me, or he'd wait with me till Hungry Hippo decided to waddle her way down. Well, one day I was in a particularly right mood, so one person came down, and we were like, all right, I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna go talk to a supervisor. So me and Jonesy, we walked up, talked to supervisor, and it turns out the big boss was there. Like, and when I say big boss, I mean he was like over the district. And sure enough, it was 20, almost 30 minutes after my shift was supposed to end. Hungry Hippo was sitting there leaning up against the counter, just laughing with some other associates. So I looked at our big boss, I looked at our supervisor on duty, and I was like, is she ever going to come down to relieve me on time? And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, she's fucking sitting here almost 30 minutes past when I was supposed to leave, and she's still just sitting here talking. And she got all huffle and puffled and red in the face, and she walked out the door to go walk down to the side of the building. And I looked at him, and he's like, we need to go outside. I was like, yeah, we need to go outside. So me and our district manager, we went ahead and we walked out of the building. And Jonesy and another supervisor came out with me. And we were sitting there talking with him. He's like, what is going on? I was like, I apologize for the way that I acted. I know I shouldn't have yelled behind the counter. I know I shouldn't have yelled inside the building. But this has been going on for damn near 6 months. And every time that I report something, it never goes through. And that's when Jonesy and my other supervisor kicked in, and we just unloaded on the guy, just telling him everything that was going on, and nothing fucking happened. It was horrible.
That sounds terrible. Dude, I'm honestly glad I've never ran into shit like that in the workplace.
Yeah. Nah, dude, working at that facility, it was something, man. It was something.
It sounds like it was something.
So they had a pretty big no recording rule there, because obvious reasons. And I guess there was one lady who actually worked for the company, because we were contracted there. So we were a third-party security company working for what I call them Cramazon. And
yeah,
we were doing our rounds, and there was one associate who was crazy. Like, she was off her fucking rocker. Apparently she was up on the 3rd floor, like, hopping over conveyor belts while they were running, because she was recording a YouTube video.
Oh, that sounds so brilliant.
Needless to say, she got fired. But this crazy lady, so in order for them to leave the building, they had to go through metal detectors and an x-ray machine if they had a bag. And she sent her bag through our x-ray machine one day, and there was like a 12-inch long knife in her bag. Now, there's supposed to be no weapons, no pew-pews, no knives, no nothing inside the building. And she comes through with this great big old fucking kitchen knife. And I looked at her, I was like, is that a knife in your bag? And she's like, yeah, I was using it to cut my vegetables and my bread. And I looked at Jonesy and I was like, give me a second. So I had to call the supervisor down, and they came down, and she's like, I could just throw it away. I was like, no, we have to do paperwork now. It was so dumb. There were so many stupid people who worked for that company, man.
Well, places like that, it just seems like they will hire anybody.
And it's true. They really do hire literally anyone at that site, because I remember I was talking with one of the LP. Yeah, because they have an LP system there on top of our security. So I was talking with one of the LP guys, and he was like, "Yeah, no, most of the people who work here usually come right out of jail." I was like, "Oh, okay." And apparently, this is one of those places where if you get fired from them, you wait 90 days and you reapply.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty much any warehouse anywhere.
And especially during like holiday times, that's when they'll hire anyone. Like, oh, you have a record? That's cool. You're hired.
Yep. They don't care as long as there is manpower.
Mm-hmm. Dude, they had a blind lady working there.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember watching her walk in, and then she walked towards the back, towards like a sorting area,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, how is she going to? How?
It's a mystery.
Yeah, it was something, dude. It was crazy. Nope.
That's like I can even say like just working. Now I can't like go into a whole lot of discussion. But I can say who I work for, you would think would have their shit together. And let me tell you, they really don't.
Sounds
And
like most corporations.
well, this is literally the biggest one.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one.
I worked for that one once upon a time for a while.
Yeah, they're kind of stupid.
Man, I can remember one holiday season working for them. We ended up having to get a bunch of trailers because we didn't have enough room in the back room to store all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they had me out in toys one night because I worked overnights. This last time that I worked there. And there just wasn't enough room. Like what they ordered, because they ordered. It was the year after everyone got like the stimulus checks. So this was like the year after COVID.
Okay.
And of course, how they order stuff is they order stuff based off of the previous year's sales. So I was like, okay. And because everyone was getting stimulus checks, everyone had money, so everyone was buying a lot of shit. Well, this year no one got stimulus checks, so people weren't buying as much stuff. And I think we had like 3 trailers just for toys. And I remember trying to go into one of the trailers, and people were just throwing shit in there, man. Like there was no organization at all. And so I get on the radio and I call someone over. I was like, "How am I supposed to stock shit in here?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" And so I opened up the trailer and I was like, "How do you want me to bin stuff in here?" And they were like, "Oh, just find a spot." I was like, "What? Like, what do you mean find a spot?" So it's like they were encouraging people to just throw shit in there.
Yeah, they just wanted you to go ahead and fuck everything up. That way they had somebody to fall on.
Right.
Oh no, I told him to do it like this.
Yeah. No, I remember there was one night, me and another guy, we asked her, they're like, "Hey, because they would rotate us wherever they wanted us to do freight. And we're like, "Hey, we're done early. Do you want us to go out there and start trying to organize any of the trailers?" And they're like, "Yeah, start with the toys." I was like, "I hate you." I was like, "That's what I get for fucking volunteering for anything." So we go out there with a couple pallets. We unload the whole trailer onto these pallets, and then we restock it. The very next night, it looks like a fucking truck hit the trailer because everything was just on the floor again. It's like, why did we even do this?
You know, that's generally the question you're left with is why did I do this? Why is this done like this?
Yeah.
But God forbid you make a suggestion that makes sense to them.
Absolutely. No, that was a corporation that was interesting, that's for sure. Yeah, that was something.
It is so interesting to me, just like how are you this big of a corporation? And I just like you don't have anything together, man. And you know we're supposed to look up to you,
Right?
like excuse me.
I know we had one support manager, and the only reason, well, this was back when they had supports, I guess, because I guess supports aren't really a thing anymore. We all knew how she got the promotion to support because we all knew that she was having relations with the co-manager or the assistant manager. Yeah, like the ASL. Like we all knew it, and they didn't know that we knew it. But it's kind of hard not to notice when you're sitting there playing grab ass in the aisle.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at least make it somewhat fucking yeah, yeah. Little
Yeah,
discretion never hurt nobody.
yeah. But that particular ASL, I guess he was playing grab ass with quite a few of the associates. So
Oh, even better.
right, it's like give someone power and watch where they go with it.
It's generally not anywhere good.
Yeah, I feel like I've literally done nothing but complain like this entire episode.
I wouldn't say that, but I will say it's all valid.
Yeah.
Like I haven't disagreed with a single word that you've said this evening.
Sometimes you just need to rant, I guess.
And I think everybody needs to. I feel like
Yeah.
shit would be how do I want to say this? I want to say things would be a little more peaceful if you just let somebody get it out.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it may not sound the way you want it to sound, but just let that person just let them get it off their chest.
Let them rant.
You'll start to see a lot more happy people when they can just be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is okay for me to bitch a little bit. Just all right, but no. I feel like once you start, bitching a little bit, then it's just like I don't know. It's
Why
almost
are
like
you complaining?
yeah, it's like nobody wants to hear you complain. Da 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 da. It's like cry me a fucking river. Just let me get it off my chest for 5 minutes and then I'll be done with it.
Right. No one wants to hear it. Then why are you still here?
Yeah, well, if you don't want to hear it, then walk away. I'm still gonna bitch. Let me bitch in peace.
Right?
I ain't hurting nobody.
I'm not talking to anyone in particular. I'm just talking.
Exactly.
And
Like,
sometimes that's just what you need to do is just blah.
yeah. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with a little bit of bitching.
Right?
I mean, yeah,
Absolutely.
words suck sometimes and you don't want to hear. Oh well.
Right? So you don't need to stand here. It's like you can go to the other water cooler.
Exactly. See, and that's my mentality. I've walked into, so many different work areas and you just see somebody like they're having a bad day and I just turn around. So I'm like, you know what? Dude needs a minute.
Yeah. It's like I'm gonna let you do you. And I'm gonna go over here. And there's
Exactly.
nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not. Nope. Get it off your chest. Move on.
Yep. Because if you don't, it's just gonna eat at you.
Oh yeah, it is.
And I mean, I know before here, I used to just I used to do this in my car, and like I would hit the record button on my phone, and I would just rant, and I would delete them afterwards, but it was one of those things where I would do it when I was on my way home from work. That way, I wasn't coming home from work and then ranting to my wife. Because when I got home, I didn't really want to, I didn't want to bring that negative energy home. I wanted to, leave that away. So I would do it on my time. And then when I told her that, she was like, "You could talk to me." I was like, "Oh, I absolutely know that I can. Like, I know that I can, and I love the fact that I can. But sometimes it just feels like I don't want to bother you with it. That I'd rather just talk to the infinite void and be done with it."
Yeah.
Because no one wants to be a bother to their partner.
No.
And now we're getting into the depressing area. That's not fun.
The steps of life though.
Right?
Some of the walks of life they're pretty shitty. But
Yeah, they are.
if you're not going through them, you're not living.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
I know, and this is coming from a very, 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 very dark childhood. I feel like the best way to kind of navigate all of this is to honestly, in the periods of time where things aren't so rough, stressful, you just have those really peaceful, calm, relaxed periods of your life. That's where you're like, okay, you know what, that little bit of bullshit, it was worth it.
Right.
So just something to gnaw on a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, at the end of the day, don't be afraid to just vent. Because if you don't vent, if you just keep bottling it up, like a lot of people do, it's not going to be any good for anybody. But with all that being said, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a good night, good day, what have you, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye now.